last one. So the root letters, they play significant role in the construction of a verb. In the construction of a verb, right? And 99.9% there are only 3 root letters from which not only af'al are derived, but many nouns are derived as well. Many nouns are derived as well. So I'm giving you the example that the root letters are like, if you like gold, for example. If you have the gold, right? You can make jewelry, different bracelet, whatever, you can make it, right? Rings, whatever you can make, but the essence or the root is what? Gold. Gold will remain gold, right? This is why I'm saying that if you go to page number 2, from verb side, you can see kataba, kaf taba, it is the root letter. Kataba, it means he wrote. You just put fatha on every root letter and it means he wrote. Then is kutiba, it means it was written or he was written. In kataba, it became written. In kataba. Then is kattaba, he made someone to write. Kattaba, right? Then you can, you can see kataba, it means he exchanged with someone a contract. Kataba, yani written contract he exchanged, right? Then is takataba, it means he exchanged or he established a written contract, for example, right? Iktataba, he wrote himself, yani he subscribed. And istaktaba, he sought writing, and he dictate, he asked, somebody else is to write. So from kaf taba, just adding 1 or 2 letters and also just putting different movement or harakat on them, the meanings are changed. The verb side, you can, the noun sides, for example, you can see kataba, katabun means writing, kitabun means a book which is written, kitabatun is just writing, and kutayyibun is a booklet, little book, and katibun is the one who is a writer, maktubun is which is written, I means the your letter, and maktabun is the place where you write, means an office, desk, and maktabatun means is a library or the bookstore where the written things are stored. So you can see that although these are the different shapes, but in every single shape, kaf, ta, ba remains intact, right? So this is your, if you like, the mada or the root letters that remains in every form of a word in a derived. And then the other thing is that the basic meanings will remain in all of the derived verbs, words as well. Derived words. So the kitab, yani writing, the sense of writing is, if you see in every form of the words which are derived from the roots, from the root letter, right?
So it's like Sulasi Mujarrad then.
It is different thing.
See? All right.
Right? So we are just discussing at present time that
Root
which
letter.
are the root letters. So root letters are the root or the base from which you are going to make
Derived.
fi'l. You are going to derive fi'l. Right? Whether it is fi'l madi, fi'l mudari, or fi'lul amr or fi'lul nahi. Right? And not only verbs, but you can derive from it several nouns as well, like writer, katibun, maktub is the letter which is noun. So this is about the root letters and right. Again, the fi'l, mashallah, al-fi'l. So the fi'l will be derived from the root letters.
Letters.
From the root letters. And how many root letters will be in Arabic? Mostly 99.9%? Three. Only three. Right. Okay. So now, my dear brothers, it is amazing to know that if you see any form of a verb, how many things you can understand even if you don't know the meaning of that particular word that happened to be a verb fi'l. Only one word, one fi'l, one word from fi'l, if you see how many things you will be able to identify, how comprehensive language it is. For example, I can tell you here, Sallamtu, we know that. I gave salam to, we did it, did we? Ja'a Zaydun, Ra'aytu Zaydan, Sallamtu ala Zaydin. Right? Just for example. So how many things you will be able to identify if you study the verb? If you, and this is amazing, the study of verb is amazing, really, because it is very comprehensive. Because of just signs, putting one letter or changing the harak, you can produce the new meaning. A lot of meaning, right? One word can be a full sentence, to be honest. So, just by looking at a fi'l, you can learn or you can identify a lot of things. Some of them are like, you will be able to identify root letters. You will be able to identify the root letters of that verb. Right? And then you can focus the root letters, the deeper understanding you can improve. And when you have the root letters, then you can consult a dictionary, because most of the comprehensive Arabic dictionaries, they are actually organized according to the root letters. For example, the root letters for Sallamtu are Sin Lam Mim. If you'd like to see the meaning of Sallamtu, you need to go Sin Lam Mim, under Sin Lam Mim. This is what you can recognize, my dear friends. The other thing what you can recognize is the tense. This is verb. I know this is al-fi'lul madi. You can identify, even you don't know the meaning, because of the structure of the fi'l, because of the template of the fi'l, you will be able to identify. You will be able to identify. Right? This is the second thing. Then you will be able to identify, the third thing is the pattern. The pattern of the verb. Don't worry about the pattern of the verb. I will explain it to you. You know, the patterns of the verb means that there are about 16 patterns, different 16 to 17 patterns. What are patterns? They add something in the root letter in order to create extra meanings. As you see, Kutaybun, it means booklet. You understand? But this is just a template. This is not this is not the patterns. I'm just telling you that the extra meanings can be added to the root letters, right? These are the patterns. What we will be studying, 1 to 10 patterns only. 1 to 10 patterns, right? 1 to 10 patterns, we will be studying that, and they have been organized particularly by the modern Arabic scholars, right? So the patterns are 1 to 10, and what happens, how they are being expressed? They are being expressed with Roman
Numbers.
Numerous, right? Like, so this is pattern 2. I will touch this subject, don't worry, right? But I know this is pattern 2, sallamtu. So I know the extra meaning associated with the pattern number 2, for example, right? I know that. For example, nazala means
Send down.
to send down, right? But when you put nazzala, it means coming down slowly. Extra meaning. Nazzala al-Qur'ana ala abdihi. This is the extra patterns. When you put some extra letter in the root letters, then the extra meanings will be achieved. Right? So these are the patterns. How many patterns we will be studying?
10.
1 to 10. And how these patterns are being made, it is added either the harakat, or it is added some extra letters in the root letters in order to attain specific meanings, right? So I know, so just by looking a fail, you will be able to inshallah identify what pattern it is and how the patterns are written. 1 to
As Roman numerals.
Roman
Numerals.
1 to 10. So this is pattern number 2, for example. You will be able to, don't worry. I will give you a sort of brief overview today, not yet, when I finish this, brief overview, but inshallah, but you need to understand that. The other thing what you will be able to identify without knowing the meaning of sallamtu is the doer pronouns. Remember that the doer pronoun is inbuilt in every verb. No verb without doer. Like fa'ala, fa'ala. Alif is a doer, the sign of doer. So, no verb in Arabic without a doer. So the doer is inbuilt. So I am able to understand sallamtu, tu means I am the doer. So without even knowing the meaning of salama, I can understand the doer, not only the doer, doer pronouns, right? I will be able to understand the gender. Gender, it is mudhakkar or muannas, right? It is number, it is singular, dual or plural, right? And its person. What is person? Ghaib, the one you are talking about, which is not present. And second is hazir, right? And mutakallim is the first person. So this is the first person. Sallamtu ala Zaydin. I gave salam to Zayd. You understand? So I will be able to identify the doer and all of the essential things which are related to doer, like its gender, like its number, like its case. Person, I mean. First person, second person, or third person. Is it clear, my brother? Yeah? Then I will be able to identify the voice. I will explain it to you. Voice. Voice means whether it is active voice or passive voice. Ma'roof or majhool. Ma'roof or majhool. What does it mean? For example, if I say, Imams opened the door. Fataha al-imamu baban. For example, yeah? The Imams opened the door. This is active voice, means ma'roof. Why? Because I know who did the action. Who did the action? Who opened the door?
Imam.
The Imam. If I say futihal babu, door was opened. So I don't know the one who opened the door. So this is passive voice. This is majhool. This is majhool. Just by looking at the fi'l, of Arabic, I will be able to identify whether I know its meanings or not, whether it is active voice or passive voice. Is it ma'roof or majhool? Is it ma'roof or majhool, my dear brothers? Yeah? Okay. As I said to you, I will be able to identify the patterns, yeah? The patterns of the verb. And how many patterns? We will be studying 1 to 10. And which are patterns? Patterns are a specific template, right? Which are specified for all of the verbs. When you put an extra letter, some extra letters, or you basically patterns, okay, I can write it down, patterns. Or you can change the haraka of particularly ayn kalma. When you change the haraka, or you add some letters, right? So they are how many? They are 1 to 10 we will be discussing, but they can be divided, the patterns can be divided into 2 types. How many types?
2 times.
Into 2 types. One are mujarrad. Mujarrad. I said to myself that I will not be writing Jim like that, so it was confusing. Mujarrad. Mujarrad. Mujarrad means no addition, any extra letter in the root letters. No addition of extra letter in the root letters, and they call it pattern number 1. Pattern number 1. This family is called pattern number 1. This group is called pattern number 1. Like fa'ala. Fa'ala. Right? It can be divided into 6 subgroups like fa'ala, yaf'alu, fa'ila, fa'ula. We already have studied this one. But this is your pattern number 1. What is pattern number 1? When there is no any extra letters, my dear brothers, in the root letters. And this is called mujarrad. Mujarrad means by itself, no extra. Pure. Pure 3 letters. Pure. This is your pattern number 1. Right? This is your pattern number 1. If you go to, please, page number 3, you can see the patterns. Okay? You can see the patterns. First one is mujarrad, which is fa'ala. If you go to the verb pattern summary, you can see it. Fa'ala yaf'alu, number 1. Patterns number 1. Can you see, everyone? Under the verb patterns. As I told you, the mujarrad, they themselves are how many? 6. We are not going to discuss at present time here about the 6, but I am telling you just pattern number 1, which is mujarrad. Which is what? Mujarrad. Pattern number 1 is? What does it mean? Only 3 letters, no extra letters. Only 3 root letters. Only 3 root letters, no extra letters. Then it is divided into 6 subgroups, and it is according to the haraka of ayn kalima. It is according to the haraka of ayn kalima, right? The second root letters. But no addition in this. If you go through, and how many number root letter, how many number of verbs are there? 675. 675. And how many verbs are used in the Quran? 12,347. This is your pattern number 1. Pattern number 2 is fa'ala. Pattern number 2 is fa'ala. This is mazid fi. as I told you, they are divided into mujarrad, and one is mujarrad. The next is mazid fi. What is that, bhai? Mazid
Fihi.
fi. Mazid, addition, fihi, in it. Some addition. There are root letters, but there are some addition, extra letters as well.
This is pattern 2, Dr. Saab.
This is, no, there are several patterns.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, how many? Basically, the patterns are divided into how many types?
2 types.
I am telling you.
6.
Nahin.
No, 2 times. Oh, yes, yes. Mujarrad and mazid.
Mujarrad and mazid.
Types of patterns. How many patterns? 2 individually. One is mujarrad. The other one is mazid fi. Mujarrad is what?
Only the root
A.
letters.
Mujarrad. Only root letters. They are divided into subgroups 6. Then is mazid fi.
Mazid fi.
B. Mazid fi is what?
Extra
Where
letters
you
added.
have extra letters. And there are 15, but we will be studying only how many? 9. Because we will be studying 10. One is mujarrad and the 9s are
Mazid fihi.
mazid fihi. So this is what I'm saying. Mujarrad is this one, fa'ala, and mazid fi. If you go to there, number 2 is what?
Fa'ala.
Fa'ala, number 2. And how many verbs will be derived from it?
171.
171. And in the Quran, 1300. This is number 2. Number 3rd is
Fa'ala.
Fa'ala. How many?
62.
In the Quran,
334.
I will be just reading the patterns and you will be telling the next bit information. Af'ala. Number 4 is af'ala. G.
Number of verbs 261. Times in Quran 3487.
Number 5 is tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. Okay.
81 number of words.
Number of verbs 81. In the Quran 414.
14.
Number 6 is tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. Right? You know, you can see ta is added, and then after fa kalima, alif is added. Yeah? Two letters are added, right? Here, 2 letters. It means it can be 3 as well, yeah? 1 letter, 2 letter, or 3 letters, right? Okay, so how many times how many numbers of the fail are? 35. In the Quran, 77
times.
Next one is number 7 is in fa'ala. In fa'ala. Every addition is in the mazi anyway. In fa'ala. So how many verbs? 15. In the Quran, 51.
Times.
Number 8 is ifta'ala. Ifta'ala. How many verbs?
101.
1, not 1. And how many times in the Quran?
9.
63. Number 9 is if'alla. If'alla. How many? 2. And in the Quran, 5 times. Istaf'ala. 3 letters here. 3. 1, 2 and 3. 3. Istaf'ala. Alif, sin and ta. Hamza, sin and ta in the beginning. So, how many? 71. And in the Quran, 369. So, as you can see, the pattern 1 is mostly used in the Quran. That's why we are going to make fi'lul madi from the root letter, first root letter, and we will be studying how to make fi'lul madi today. Clear? We have 5 minutes break now.